Hey, welcome back YouTube to another great RC Worst video. Today we're going to be talking about troubleshooting your 507-0011 sump pump system. And this is actually a battery backup sump pump system. And if you're not experiencing problems with your system, you probably need to check out the introduction to this pump system, which we'll have that linked in the description below. But for anybody that's experiencing problems, we hope that this video is going to help you to determine what's wrong and to help you to fix it. So we'll jump right into it. We'll get started with talking about troubleshooting on this control module. So the first question that you might find yourself asking when you've installed this thing new is the charging and charged, these two lights here in the middle, are constantly flashing. Is that okay? And the answer is yes. These two lights are supposed to be flashing at all times during this process of this being plugged in. So in the instance that your alarm is going off and it won't shut up essentially, and you've got this alarm reset button here, you only want to push that a maximum of 3 times. Well, really you could push it as many times as you want, but if it doesn't work after the 3rd push, that's not the problem. So you're going to want to check other things within the system. So that includes check your wiring. Make sure your wiring is hooked up properly. Make sure that none of your terminals have gotten corroded. Obviously, that's something that happens with batteries pretty easily, as you'll get that buildup of that calcium type material. I'm not exactly sure what it is that builds up around those terminals, and that can interfere with your connectivity. Another thing that you can try if the alarm is not resetting is just simply unplug the unit from the wall. Wait a few seconds, probably about 30 seconds, and then plug it back in. See if that doesn't clear the alarm condition. If it doesn't, then we've either got a problem with the control module or we've got a problem in the pump wiring somewhere. In the instance that you've pushed this alarm reset button and you've unplugged it and you still are having the alarm go off for whatever reason, then that could either be, I mentioned it could be the pump, it could be the controller, but it could also be the battery. The battery could be bad, so I would take that into a battery specialist and have them check it professionally. So now you say, Chris, what do I do in a situation where my backup sump pump is not running at all? I've got power going to it and I've checked everything, it's just not running. Well, you might not have checked this little yellow doohickey here. This thing actually houses a 15 amp fuse. So make sure that you check that, because that could potentially be the source of your problem. So now what to do in the situation where your backup sump pump is clearly running, you're not getting any alarms, but the liquid level is not dropping. What that could be an indication of is not enough charge in the battery, which is causing the pump to basically do a lot less work than it should. Again, in that situation, take your battery and have it checked. In a situation where your pump won't start, it's always possible that something's become lodged in the underside of the impeller, preventing it from rotating. So with the power removed, you can pull that pump out of there and inspect the bottom and see if there's any obstructions. If you find yourself in a situation where your backup pump is cycling too frequently or coming on too regularly, then double check the rubber stops located at the top and bottom of your float switch for the backup sump pump. This is what allows the range of motion for the float switch to operate, so make sure that those are where they should be. And I think lastly, one of the things to talk about is battery health. So batteries do go bad over time, as we all know. And oftentimes in these types of systems, the battery can go bad without giving any type of a warning sign, and it actually still may hold a charge, but it may not have the full capacity that it used to. So what you'll get in those situations is your backup pump may turn on and it may move some water, but you may find that it moves a lot less water than it's supposed to. And that's definitely a clear indication that your battery is starting to go bad on you and that you need to get that looked at and most likely replaced. So let's talk about the battery for just a minute. Obviously this system doesn't come with a battery, so you have to go out and find one. The type of battery that you're going to be looking for in this system preferably would be a deep cycle marine battery, because those deep cycle batteries have a lot more capacity and are going to be able to run that backup sump pump for a longer period of time, which is ultimately going to provide you a higher level of protection. So look at the amp hours on the battery that you're selecting and try to select one with a decent amount of amp hours compared to what else is out there. And you'll definitely notice a difference when it comes time that the power's out and the backup sump pump is doing all the work. And I think that the last troubleshooting tip, and this is more of a maintenance tip or preventative maintenance tip that I'm going to leave you with today, is that in a situation where your backup sump pump and your primary sump pump are used quite regularly, it's going to benefit you greatly to go in there very periodically and test everything, making sure that the backup sump pump is working and that the primary sump pump is working, and that they're both flowing or pumping the amount of water that you expect them to, or that they did when you originally installed them. Because as I mentioned previously with the battery, they do slowly kind of die out and slowly kind of lose that energy over time. So those symptoms, of course, are decreased performance and output from that battery or from that backup pump. Of course, you're also just wanting to make sure that your primary sump pump is functioning, because that's in most cases the one doing all of the work. So if you have any further questions, if you run into any situations that I didn't cover, our customer service team is definitely standing by to help you out. You can get a hold of us via email, give us a call, or even head over to our website and hit us up on our live chat feature. So again, thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great content. This is Chris, and we'll see you next time.